Have you ever looked up at the sky, Avery, wondering what secrets it holds? What if I tell you our very reliance on technology was once challenged by an event that took place not on Earth, but originating from the Sun?
You have my interest piqued, Chris. Are we talking about a solar event?
Exactly, Avery. More than a century and a half ago, a celestial event of epic proportions transpired. The Sun, in all its blazing glory, sent forth a storm that shook the world's technology.
And we are talking about an era where technology was considered as putting pen to paper.
Indeed. It was the year 1859. An astronomer named Richard Carrington was quietly observing sunspots when a flare of white light blinded him momentarily. This was a sign of an imminent solar storm.
Its effects were experienced on Earth as the largest telecommunications blackout.
A blackout that crippled the most expansive telegraph network of that time. Paper spontaneously catching fire, shocking operators, a spectacle indeed.
Such was the magnitude of the Carrington Event.
Imagine, Avery, a colossal cloud of charged particles, electrified and restless. Imagine it furious, sparked by explosions on the Sun's surface, dancing its way towards our planet at 1,000,000 miles per hour. That's what a geomagnetic storm essentially is.
It sounds so majestic yet so absurdly terrifying, Chris.
Indeed, Avery. It's a force that I imagine as a creature from a Lovecraftian horror, unleashed into the void of space. It was such a storm that caused the Carrington Event, involving not just one, but two intense coronal mass ejections aimed directly at Earth.
These ejections, like an ethereal double-barreled shotgun, collided with our planet, didn't they?
Indeed. What followed was a dazzling chaos, which I can only describe as a cosmic dance macabre. First ejection cleared the path from the ambient solar wind, and the second one, larger, more malign, arrived in less than 18 hours, a journey that usually takes 3 to 4 days.
So this created an unprecedentedly strong geomagnetic storm?
Yes, Avery. The resulting geomagnetic storm was the largest recorded solar storm, dwarfing everything that preceded it or followed since. It was a spectacle of natural power and a reminder of our humble placing within the universe.
I can't imagine the tremors that this storm sent across the globe, considering that geomagnetic storms aren't everyday occurrences.
That's what makes the Carrington Event so unique. It's our touchstone for solar volatility, a yardstick against which all solar perturbations must be measured. It's a constant reminder of our planet's symbiotic yet volatile relationship with the Sun.
Such moments sound as if they are straight out of a sci-fi narrative.
Let us delve into the man who unraveled this enigma, Richard Carrington.
Carrington, an astronomer, correct?
Yes, indeed. Born in Chelsea, London, in 1826, Richard Christopher Carrington grew up under the tutelage of a family that knew the value of a good education. His career kicked off as an apprentice at an observatory in Durham, but what truly kindled his passion was solar astronomy.
His work at the Red Hill Observatory must have been hectic, juggling solar and stellar observations.
A testament to his dedication, no doubt. He painstakingly catalogued sunspots, documenting their evolving patterns. His diligence paid off when he noticed intense white light flashing from 2 sunspots in the morning of September 1st, 1859.
Oh, so he was the one who actually saw the flares leading to the Carrington Event?
Indeed. Carrington was privy to the birth of this cosmic beast. His timely report provides us with the most comprehensive record of a geomagnetic storm, serving as an invaluable reference for present-day solar researchers.
It's fascinating to think of how his dedication changed the course of solar science.
Absolutely. His observations catalyzed our understanding of not only solar flares, but the Sun's impact on Earth's magnetosphere, and consequently, our technology. He was a man truly ahead of his time. Imagine a world beginning to embrace the marvels of instant communication.
1850s, right? When Telegraph was the WhatsApp of the era.
Absolutely, Avery. Rapidly shaping up, the telegraph had become an integral part of global communication, a marvel that defied distance.
It allowed businesses to make real-time decisions, journalists breaking the latest happenings and families staying connected over vast distances.
Like global arteries, telegraph wires crisscrossed continents. bringing a never-before connectivity. Can you think of a time when even the simplest of messages would take days, if not weeks, to reach their destination?
It must have been revolutionary, and then, during the Carrington Event, it went silent.
Silent indeed, a sudden and unforeseen blackout. Sparks of electricity flew from telegraph machines, and operators received shocks.
The world's largest telecommunication network in its infancy. Disabled.
Imagine the bewilderment, the uncertainty. We couldn't fathom the depth of this phenomenon because the society was unprepared for such an unprecedented blackout. We had just started to explore the cosmos and were unaware of its surging powers.
It's a humbling reminder of our reliance on technology. It's a narrative we hardly remember today, but one that drastically confounded the norms of 1850s. Silent world aglow. These must have been surreal days, wouldn't you say, Chris?
Surreal indeed, Avery. The Earth might have been silent, bathed in the soft glow of lights. Lights that are generally seen only in polar regions.
You're referring to the Aurora Borealis, aren't you?
Yes, Aurora Borealis and Aurora Australis in the southern hemisphere, also known as polar lights. They're natural light displays resulting from the collision of charged particles with atoms in the Earth's atmosphere.
So are these collisions caused by solar flares?
Right, these illuminated wonders are gifts of the sun. Each flame appearing after heavenly fires released by the sun interact with the Earth's magnetic field.
Yet the Carrington Event must have painted these lights like never before.
Indeed, the Carrington Event supercharged these natural light shows, flaring them up in places people had never witnessed them before. Far from the poles, beyond their natural habitat, these lights leaped.
The spectacle must have been breathtaking, yet terrifying at the same time.
Reports suggest that aurora lights were seen as far away as Havana, Cuba, and Honolulu. Mid-latitudes bathed in the glow of celestial light. A mesmerizing and frightful sight.
Such a paradoxical beauty, illuminated by an unseen terror.
A paradox indeed, a phenomenon that paints our vision with beauty, derived from the chaos of cosmic fires, a testament to the universe's incredible paradox. Doesn't it astonish you, Avery, the fragile interplay between our technology and the universe?
Puts into perspective the remarkable vulnerability, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The Carrington Event was a glaring indication that our technological marvels, telegraph systems of the era to be precise, were susceptible to the whims of the cosmos.
From tap, tap, tap to silence just like that. The world connected 1 minute, plunged into isolation the next.
Quite so. The telegraph system was our 1850s internet, and its blackout was a wake-up call to our fledgling understanding of solar activities.
But were we really awake, Chris? Did we heed the call?
Some did, Avery. Post-event, we did see some significant advances. The Carrington Event spurred Richard Carrington and others to further study the sun's activities.
But the implications were not limited to astronomical insights alone, were they?
Indeed not, Avery. It forced humanity to confront the desperate need to safeguard our uniquely human creations from the unpredictable flares of the cosmic inferno.
So, from the ashes of the telegraph networks we built stronger, thinking we could defy the sun.
That's a befitting way to put it, Avery. From landlines to the internet, we have come a long way, creating systems with layers of redundancy and resilience.
But are they enough, Chris? Have we built our sandcastles strong enough to withstand the cosmic tide?
Only time can truly answer that, Avery. But until then, scientific curiosity and our thirst for knowledge should guide us, ensuring we keep building, keep learning, keep striving. Do you ever think, Avery, about what this event might look like nowadays?
If such a storm were to occur today, you mean?
Precisely. Imagine the disruption, the chaos. We rely so heavily on our technological infrastructure, more so now than ever.
We're talking about power grids, satellites, telecommunications.
Exactly. The skeletons of modern civilization, all vulnerable to the caprices of the sun. Unnerving thought, isn't it?
Solar whimsy playing with our lives like we're puppets on a string.
Quite so. Our reliance on technology has granted a new power to the cosmos. They have become the puppeteers of our existence in a way.
It seems, Chris, that the only thing changed since 1859 is the scale of potential chaos. Our toys got shinier. but the threat looming over them remains from the annals of history.
A shiny new vulnerability. Could a storm like Carrington surge an age of technological darkness, like a modern-day blackout?
A blackout from Mother Nature, no less. Our tech could be rendered useless, our interconnected world disconnected. Yet, it is in these potential points of failure that our resilience is born. Or we can hope so.
It would seem, Avery, that looking to the past, such cataclysmic solar events have shaped much of our understanding and probabilities.
True, Chris. The 1859 Carrington Event serves as a stark reminder of our ever-present vulnerabilities to the sun's whimsical tempests.
And given the plethora of devices and systems that we now rely on, the stakes have significantly escalated. From GPS navigation, banking systems, power grids, to satellite communications. Our technology, much like a glimmering castle built on sand, is ominously susceptible.
Exactly, and I think that drills home the need for adequate preparation for future solar storms.
Yes, it seems there are protective measures in place, aren't there?
There are, from what I understand. On a technical level, power grid operators are now able to induce a temporary outage to prevent long-term damage and deformation.
Interesting. How effective are these methods?
Effectiveness in terms of containment is an area that definitely needs more exploration. And it's not enough to merely respond. We need to predict. Building out space weather watching satellites that can alert us of incoming solar storms is critical, granting us some much-needed time to prepare.
So we would essentially see the incoming storm in advance, trigger a shutdown of our vulnerable systems, and in theory survive the storm unscathed.
In a perfect world, Chris. But perfection is often elusive. While we can certainly manage the potential risks better through technological advancements, it is imperative that we invest in further research and development of accessible safeguards.
Risk management will certainly play a pivotal role in the days to come, especially as we continue to expand our techno-dependence. But I believe humanity, with its inherent resilience, would find a way. As they say, necessity is the mother of invention. Imagine, Avery, a world of screens gone dark.
A forced disconnection from our constant blinking links to information, to communication, to each other. How would our daily life adjust to such a drastic change?
We might feel a jarring sense of loss at first, the comforting buzz of life carried by wavelengths, gone silent. Post offices would be buzzing with heightened activity as old-school methods of communication are reverted to. Markets, too, would be a hive of manual transactions, paper bills exchanged by hand.
And with it, we'd notice a slower pace. Relation to time, distorted. The routine checking of clocks that used to sync with a satellite now holding no meaning. Paper maps unfolding on tabletops, compass needles pointing north. Our anchor in the electronic sea having sunk.
That's a hard reality to picture indeed. But let's also consider the more entrenched technologies, the power grids that drive our entire economy.
Once crippled, the machinery would come to a standstill. Worker bees rendered immobile, factories, construction sites, offices would all go silent.
But I do believe that humanity would adapt. We've faced adversity before and found ways to overcome. The horror of a blackout world wouldn't last as resilient minds paved the path towards restoration. Generators, wood stoves, tungsten bulbs painting warm halos in cool night air, painting a timeline of recovery.
And therein lies the message for today, does it not? It's not just understanding the past, but learning from it. Understanding its implications for our present, for our future.
The sun, Avery, the whimsical orchestra of fiery waves bouncing off its surface, the predictable ebb and flow of its rising and setting, yet paradoxically, unpredictable in its behavior. Our eternal burning star, charming as it is, bears an elusive sense of unpredictability.
Indeed, the Carrington Event was a striking testament to this unpredictability. I cannot fathom the surprise that must have swept over the telegraph operators as lines sparked and papers caught fire. It was like witnessing a silent but luminous rebellion by an otherwise predictable celestial body.
A celestial rebellion. Yes, that's an interesting way to describe it. But what I find most fascinating is that our knowledge of these solar behaviors, these solar storms, it's still in its infancy, much like our understanding of the universe at large.
And yet, despite our advanced technologies and extensive research into solar dynamics, predicting such an event with precise accuracy is still beyond our reach. It begs the question, does it not? How close are we to truly understanding our sun?
An insightful question, Avery. Our progress in comprehending solar activity might be likened to venturing into uncharted waters. Each wave that hits the boat, a new discovery, unpredicted, unforeseen, yet momentous in its imparting of knowledge. A similar wave, when it crashed upon Carrington's world, would throw ours into darkness. Yet, each wave pushes us closer to the shore of understanding. Understanding our sun, Avery, it is this orb of warmth and life, yet she shrouds herself in an enigma.
Sun, our celestial riddle, Chris. Its role in Earth's life cycle and weather evident. Yet its dynamics, a convoluted sonnet.
A convoluted sonnet, indeed. Unraveling this celestial conundrum is like dancing with the shadows. You follow a pattern, and it transforms. Just as we start understanding, a new solar event sends us back to our contemplations.
The Carrington Event, Chris, an eerie waltz with the sun's whimsy. It taught us that life dances to the beat of a fiery drum in the heart of our solar system.
A rhythm elusive as a phantasm. It's as though the sun paints vibrant pictures on the canvas of the sky, yet it holds back the secrets of its colors.
Do we comprehend these celestial pigments? Solar cycles, prominences, flares, coronal mass ejections, each a stanza in the sun's epic.
Yes, each a cryptic verse in a cosmic classic. The irony, Avery. To fathom the Carrington Event, we not only decode Earth's past, but also strive to interpret the sun's verse.
And the verse often hums a tune of mystery. Massive sunspots observed before the 2003 Halloween solar storms, whispering of turbulences, yet their connection to solar storms still a riddle.
A riddle only the sun's cryptic luminary tongue can decode. Here we are, Avery, two terrestrial creatures, marveling the celestial mystique, striving for comprehension. Avery, here's a puzzle. Do solar storms strip away Earth's atmosphere?
Fascinating inquiry, Chris, but no. Solar storms do not strip away our atmosphere. It's a common misconception, most likely derived from the visual spectacle created by solar storms interacting with our atmospheric layer, creating auroras.
I see, Avery. So the game of solar storms and Earth's atmosphere is intertwined with colors and lights, rather than a disastrous stripping.
Absolutely, Chris. It's more of a celestial waltz, a dance of charged particles and magnetic fields. It's beautiful, albeit potent.
But Avery, I wonder if these storms would cause, say, an apocalypse.
Apocalypse, Chris? Alas, despite the cinematic dramatization of solar storms, they cannot trigger an end-of-the-world scenario. Disruptions, yes. Catastrophe on a global scale, unlikely.
That's a relief, Avery. These misconceptions, they hijack our understanding, steering us into the realm of fear instead of knowledge.
A poignant observation, Chris. And in rectifying these misconceptions, we equip ourselves with the tool of wisdom to face the unknown, however radiant and fantastical it may be.
So the dance shall remain a spectacle, not a dreaded forecast.
Indeed, Chris. A cosmic ballet to marvel upon, not to fear, or at least not to fear unnecessarily or out of context.
Did you know, Avery, during the Carrington Event, people reportedly believed Armageddon had descended?
Is that so, Chris? I guess the sight of the sky aflame might trigger such thoughts.
Right you are. The year was 1859. Long before satellites, radar systems, or even radio, people's understanding of the sky was limited to what they could see. Mighty, effulgent Aurora borealis, which were normally a polar spectacle, graced the skies as far south as Havana, Cuba.
That surely must have been a bizarre and perhaps even befuddling sight for many. To wake up in the middle of the night thinking dawn had arrived, because the skies were bathed in celestial hues.
Totally. It's also said that some folks in the USA were able to read newspapers by the light of the aurora. To their naked eyes, the sun had wrought magic, turning midnight into day. It's laughable to imagine how we would react to such a phenomenon today.
Indeed, as you said, we were technologically unsophisticated back then, and our understanding of our environment was severely limited. But the reaction to such unexpected marvels still remains quite universal. The sense of awe, the thrill of the unknown, and the instinctive creep of fear. The inexplicable now explicable. It is still uniquely human.
Yes, something like the Carrington event today might not trigger thoughts of Armageddon, but it might still evoke similar feelings of wonder and dread. Yet our advanced knowledge about such phenomena enables us to appreciate the event as more than a visual miracle. We can comprehend its astronomical significance and the potential danger it poses to our technologically dependent world.
It's a testament to our growth, isn't it? From fearing the onset of Armageddon to understanding the intricacies of a geomagnetic solar storm, our ignorance subsiding to better understanding.
So true, Avery. It highlights how far we've tread, how much mystery we've unwound, and yet there's more to unmask. The sun still holds many secrets tight to its fiery bosom.
Yes, the cosmic ballet continues, the dance of light and fear persists.
Whoa, Avery, here's an interesting question from a listener.
Go for it, Chris.
Does the Carrington event tell us anything about the sun's long-term behavior? Asks Tammy from Texas.
Quite insightful, Tammy. From what we've gathered, the sun's behavior is fairly unpredictable, just like any star.
Right, and specifically speaking about long-term predictions, I believe we're still at the dawn of astronomical science. We've made leaps and bounds in understanding the sun, but there are still some fierce secrets it holds on to.
Now there's a comment from Mike in Maine. He too was, like many during the Carrington event, intrigued by the sudden visibility of auroras at unusually tropical latitudes.
That was truly an astounding spectacle, something that both terrified and mesmerized people of that time. Can you imagine, Avery, looking up and seeing those kaleidoscopic lights swirling and dancing across the night sky?
It surely must have been surreal, no doubt about that. These events do challenge our understanding of nature while simultaneously highlighting how fragile our technology-infused world is.
A thought echoed by Asha in Australia. She wanted to understand more about the vulnerability of our current technological systems against solar storms.
Much like the telegraph systems in 1859, our satellites, power grids, and even our communication networks today can be severely disrupted by strong solar flares. We are, in some ways, digitally delicate.
On that note, let's take a moment to appreciate Sarah from South Africa. She conveyed a continued sense of awe and dread even with our present understanding of solar activities.
Quite poetic, Sarah. The dance of light and fear does persist. We might no longer see it as Armageddon, but it remains a cosmic ballet we're yet to fully comprehend.
To borrow the words of a renowned naturalist, John Muir, the sun shines not on us, but in us. That's what the Carrington event does. It stirs a fire within us, a hunger for knowledge, and an appreciation for the tremendous power of the cosmos.
Well said, Chris. It reminds us that we're just tiny specks in the vast cosmos, yet our connection to it is so profound. Our very existence, our technologies, our way of life are intertwined with the dynamics of a star millions of miles away.
We've spoken about the awe and fascination that the Carrington event inspires, but it also serves as a stern warning, a reminder of our vulnerabilities. The intricate web of our technology-infused world remains delicate, susceptible to the raging solar storms, a fact that can't be overlooked.
True indeed, Chris. The message here is not to invoke fear, but to equip ourselves with knowledge and readiness. As we advance and propel into the digitalized future, understanding past events such as the Carrington will be essential, not only to protect our technologies, but to ensure the smooth functioning of our daily lives.
On that note, it presents a challenge, an invitation to deepen our understanding, to learn and adapt. The sun, in its silent revolution, continues to puzzle and amaze us with its unpredictable outbursts. We can do no less than engage in our own revolution, of thought, of understanding, and of readiness.
The Carrington event teaches us humility, curiosity, and vigilance. These are the hallmarks of unending exploration, and as long as we don't lose the thirst to explore and understand, we'll continue to unveil the hidden layers of mystery that the cosmos hold.
As we bring this episode to a close, we don't bid farewell to the Carrington story. for it keeps reminding us that life, much like the sun, is unpredictable, full of surprises and invaluable lessons.
We leave you with the enchanting image of aurora lights, the sun's silent poems written across the skies, a reminder of the splendid spectacle that is the universe. Always remember, our ancestors looked up to the same night sky, and we continue their legacy of wonder and exploration.
From galaxies far away to the intricate workings of our own star, the mysteries of the cosmos beckon us. May the curiosity, wonder, and lessons from the past fuel our endeavors to understand our celestial neighborhood. Here's to embracing the sunlight and the storms alike.